All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out for everybody so we can get started here. One second. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Started here. One second. All right, great. Well, I hope everybody had a wonderful and healthy and blessed weekend, and I hope everybody is ready for a great trading day tomorrow. So this week we're switching it a little bit and looking for bullish reversal patterns. Last week we talked about bearish continuation patterns. So here we're going to look for stuff that maybe once this market's ready to bounce, that we'll be able to kind of identify a potential high probability candlestick setup on those. So today we're going to be starting bullish reversal patterns, and today we're going to talk about 3 stars in the south. 3 stars in the south. So we're going to take a look at that today. Before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so let's get started here and take a look at the SPX and see where we left off last week. This is the monthly chart, and so we are still in March, right? So this candle right here represents the March candle, so it's still in action, right? We still have about half a month to go. But we're kind of following up off of this January upper shadow here, the shooting star off of the upper Bollinger Band. We hit an all-time high right back in February, and kind of came off of it with a big upper shadow and then left a big red candle. Now the interesting thing, right, is that we hit a lower shadow here off of the mid Bollinger Band, right, and kind of came back up, and we started to get some bullishness in the beginning of the month, and then we just kind of came back down again. Now, what was really interesting is we've talked a lot about this 50 monthly moving average and how important that is. If we close below that on the monthly start, it really is potentially, it's a good, huge indication of the beginning of a bear market, right? So now, they did rally off of the close on Friday, which has put a lower shadow on this right now, but after the futures tonight, after the Fed has decided to lower rates to zero and increase some quantitative easing, actually it was the worst timing in the world because it basically just showed the Fed is panicking, right? So the market didn't like that. We'll take a look at the futures in a minute here. So let's take a look at last week's candle. So pretty interesting stuff right here. So what we have here, this is the weekly chart, right? This is your 30 weekly moving average. We talked about this in the secrets of profiting in bull and bear markets, and staying above that 30 weekly moving average is very important, right? Because you can see here once we close below it back here inside day, right, red candle, chopped around for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then worked our way down back in December to those lows before the Christmas reversal, where we got back above it, tagged the 30 weekly moving average a couple times, and then hit the all-time highs. Now this candle right here from 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago essentially. It really looks like a projection of this one right here. Then you had your inside candle right here, Harami cross to the downside. We got that big follow through last week, and then they rallied up at the end of the day on Friday, which was a huge rally, right? And you won't hear the president saying like it's a record, right? So we saw a record rally on that one, but we'll take a look at the futures here in a minute. So here's the daily chart. This was the rally on Friday, right? It gave us essentially a large hammer candle that ended up filling the gap here on the daily, but we're still bearish, right? We have a here's the fresh trend line right here from the fresh lows. So let's activate that right there. So we got our fresh lows, fresh trend line. So we are still below the trend line. We're down the 80 MA, or below the 80 MA, below the 50 moving average and the 200 moving average on the daily. So generally kind of bearish stuff here, but we may be seeing a little bit of a bounce from Friday. And I know this has been the interesting thing is you tend to, with this crazy market, this crazy volatility, it's like, we finish up, they gap it down. We finish down, they gap it up. We finish up, and well, if you look at the futures, they're going to be gapping it down. So let's just take a look at the price action here from Friday to remind what happened, right? So we got, some sideways action at the open, upper shadow right here, right? They came back down, right? Tried to fill the closing gap, couldn't quite get there. Worked their way back up, chopped around inside 15, and then they, this huge outside candle right here. Then they rallied into the close. This is when the president started speaking. It looked like it was going down, and then they completely reversed it and then rallied in the close. They got, it wasn't a horrible speech, right? They got a bunch of CEOs together saying everybody's going to work together as a team to combat the virus, right? That's the idea right there. So these are the levels that we provide to our members before each market open, which help us navigate the intraday price action, right? And you can see how important these levels are. Each, gets tested, down, tested, right here again, tested again, tested. So these are very important levels, right? So these are what we use to help guide us intraday. Okay, so let's take a look and see what the futures are looking like. Well, what you'll see with the futures right now is it's pretty quiet, right? Nothing is ticking right now. And why is that? Well, because it's halted. Right, so that's kind of one of the themes of our newsletter this weekend is we've just had like historic halts, right? I mean, yesterday, two times last week, right? We halted. Friday we halted, Thursday, and then worked its way back, and was Friday, right? We had the halt on Friday. Anyway, lots of halts last week, and so ended up they rallying into close. So now the Fed comes out in the middle of the night, like just what was it, like an hour before futures open, and they announce they're lowering rates to zero and increasing quantitative easing. So what do? They ruined the market. I mean, basically, they ended up flushing. Because why? I mean, things were looking pretty good. They were looking pretty bullish going into the close on Friday, and now they've basically come out and are saying, "Hey, this is a lot worse than than we ever thought." Right? Basically, we're using all our ammunition in one thing, and so what the market does is saying it wasn't bullish at all. A lot of folks, it's funny. A lot of folks are like, "Hey, this is gonna be really bullish." Right, and wow, the Fed's really stepping up. This is gonna be bullish, and it's like, no, this is not. This is they're saying that they're done, right? They've given up everything, and now we're flushing off it. Now they have no ammo, right, for anything. I mean, really, I mean, the only thing they could do is just QE infinity, right? QE forever. I mean, how much money are they going to print? I mean, it's crazy. So we'll see how it goes, guys. It's going to be very, very interesting. How much farther can this market go down? It can go down really, really far. I don't know what they're going to have up their sleeve. They could do what South Korea's done, right? They could ban short selling. Maybe they could try doing that. Whatever they could do to try to control price. But you guys know how it is. When people want out, they're going to sell. And so we'll see how that goes. So anyway, these are the futures right here. We actually went live tonight. We started trading live in our group with futures, and so we're having a lot of fun with that. It's great, and we just started today. Had a nice profitable little short today. Just a nice move down this morning. So you can see right here we had a nice little flush and then close into the close. We didn't want to hold it too long because we knew we were getting close to the limit down where they would halt the market, and so we got out after that, and got a nice little short off of that, and then are just kind of waiting for tomorrow now. So everything is halted at this point, so we're just going to see these ticks across until we get to tomorrow morning, and then then we'll see what they have. So we could see another halt at the open on Friday morning, so that would be basically another 2% down move off of the SPX close, and then you'll start seeing things halted again. So it basically just gives you 15 minutes to kind of hang out, and then wait till the market starts again and see what they do. Now the last couple times at the halts, right, they've come down, right, gave us a little lower shadow, and then kind of worked its way back up, and then the chopped, then give us our intraday price action. It was kind of boring right here that it's just like this all night, but we'll see what we have in store for tomorrow. So anyway, long update right there, but it's now we're all caught up in the market. So let's get on with the this week's discussion. So we're going to be talking about bullish reversal patterns, and today we're going to be talking about a cool pattern called the 3 stars in the south pattern. So what pattern is this? So this is a reversal pattern, and basically what we're looking for is 3 candles, right? So from a downtrend, that is really essentially one of our favorite setups anyway, which is the double inside candle, right? So and then we look for a reversal off of that. So we know a little bit deeper. This is a chart pattern. We trade this pattern so often that it is we kind of know a little bit more in depth than just the candle itself, right? We do this all the time. So what we see is if you're downtrending right here, you get essentially a red candle right here, right? You get an inside candle right here, and then you get another inside candle right here, and then if we pop out of that, then we ultimately work our way to the upside. So statistically, this is the most in a downtrend. This is the highest probability reversal setup that we have. Now it could take a little bit longer to make those reversals. We're going to look at that tonight. It's tough to find these setups. And sometimes from the one I found, we see a little bit of a down move right there, and then an up move after that. So we'll take a look at that in a second. But on the intraday time frame, we do like these, especially off of our 15s. They can give us some very interesting moves. So we'll look at some examples of that. So 3 stars in the south, 86% chance of a reversal to the upside. So let's take a look. So the first example I want to go over here is Tesla on the daily chart. So let's go and check that out here. Okay, so Tesla on the daily. So I believe we have to go back a little bit farther here to find this setup. And here we go. This is what it looked like right here. So as you can see, we had a down move right here, right? So we were trending down, and then we had this double inside candle right here. So this is pretty decent right here. The open was another yellow here that makes it easy to spot, but the open was 257. We closed at 252. So it was an inside candle right here. The next candle as well was an open at 261 and a close at 258. So we have 3 red candles in a row, double inside candle, and look what happened, right? We popped to the upside and got a nice move up, right? So that was all the way from 260, right, all the way to 282, about a 20-point move off of that move for a quick swing on Tesla. And then when it retested those levels, right, it couldn't even break below that double inside level. We know this, 252.01, right, low is 252.59, and we probably talked about this as well, right? We started to move up as well into earnings and got a great move up after that. So what this means is it couldn't handle, right, it didn't it kept on rejecting, right? The lower shadow, rejecting that double inside candle, and then it said, nope, we just want to keep on trying higher. So you got a nice swing, nice short swing off the first one, and then if you held through earnings, which is obviously risky, but if you have some runners from that, you got a nice move up on Tesla just from that setup right there. So we know that mostly is our double inside candle, but in a downtrend, if they're both red, it's basically like a double homing pigeon type pattern, right? So for a move to the upside. So we like that as well. And we also see these patterns set up intraday, right? So if we go to our 15-minute candle right here, we actually saw that on Friday with a move. Now, again, this is not a red candle. This is just an example of our double inside 15, but we do like it because price is very, very indecisive in here. It's rare to see triple inside 15s unless you're on like just a stock that just doesn't trade. But when you see it on a volatile stock like Tesla, especially in a volatile market, this gets very, very tight in here, right? We have a triangle through there, and it's that double inside 15. When it breaks to the upside, gives a nice move, right? So that was all, even from Friday just intraday is 518, right, all the way up to 530 for almost a 15-point move, so 13-point move or so. And then it ended up going a little bit higher too after that, as it retested with a lower shadow, the double inside candle, and came back, and then you got lower shadow again, kind of close to that range, and then it popped into the close. There was other stuff that had better moves at the end of the day, but because Tesla is not as highly traded, with the indexes. So anyway, good stuff on that one. I think there was another one too. I think it was Nvidia. There's a bunch that gave us, yeah. So Nvidia gave another tight double inside candle too on Friday, which gave a pop to the upside. We see this a lot on the intradays, especially when we're at key levels, right? We can catch some nice reversals. But on these big names in the go-to list type stocks that move, we can catch some really nice plays off of those. So that's it. That's all for this reversal candle. We'll go over a couple of other setups this week that are high probability trades statistically, and I think eventually hopefully we'll find a reversal back up in the market, and maybe one of these will signal that reversal. So good stuff. So at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can have a good rest tonight and another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. So got one request in. I don't think I got any from Shirley tonight. Let me just double check to see if any emails came through. None from Shirley tonight, so I hope she's doing well and healthy. Same goes to everybody. But let's take a look here and see. So Time Machine Surfer sent one, RCL. So let's take a look at that. So let's see RCL. Royal Caribbean. So this is one of the usual suspects for us. This is a big Corona play type stock. I mean, these cruise ships are basically seem like they're going to zero. I mean, there's just no, there's been talk about it from the administration saying, hey, we're going to help, we're going to essentially bail out the cruise companies. But I mean, at this point, they're canceling all their stuff, right? Nobody's gonna be riding these things. Everybody's getting quarantined. They've got lots of bad press, and the reality is that. I mean, it just is what it is, right? And so we're trending down, right? The ADMA is pointing straight down. We just had a death cross here on the 5200 MAs, right? And we're below two trend lines right now. So until we can get over this trend line, right? And who knows, there may even be a steeper one coming soon. Until we can get above these trend lines and break above them, right? This is bearish until proven otherwise. Lots of volumes coming in too. So, and again, I think if the futures stay down as they are, I imagine these cruise ships and airlines and everything is pretty much going to get hit. So good stuff. Great chart. Thanks for bringing that up. Robin, what's going on? Good to see you. Good evening. Thank you for the compliment on the newsletter. Apple, yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, it's been a fun newsletter. And 52 newsletters, guys. We've been doing it for a year. It's awesome. Really appreciate everybody for your support. So Apple had one of the better closes on Friday. Keep in mind, it didn't have increasing volume, right? It has large volume, but it didn't increase from Friday's down move. Now, it did bounce nicely off of the 200 MA area, right? Came back in with a hammer right here, came back to the inside day level, and it did close above the 80 MA. So generally, pretty bullish type stuff. Again, with this market and the volatility, it's very, very complex and difficult to take swings, right? Especially with options, right? So if we end up gapping down again tomorrow, we have to really just have to see if this 200-day moving average holds. Below that, we have a macro trend line down here. So we'll have to see how that holds up going into tomorrow. Dylan, what's going on? CLR, particularly the open interest on the 10 calls this week. Please and thank you. Yeah, let's take a look. So I'm going to pull it up. You won't be able to see it right here. So this is Continental Resources. The monthly 10 calls, yep, 43,000 open interest on. I'm going to see if there's anything comparable on the put side. No. Huge open interest on this one. And I do think this is an interesting one. This is oil. Oil could get a move up this week. It's very, very possible. Oil's been getting beat up a lot. So this is an interesting one for unusual option activity. So let's keep an eye on it as a potential play on those. I like that. Those 10s. I'm going to actually put this on the Bullish radar for tomorrow. It could be interesting. I had Oxy on there because of Carl Icahn, but let's put CLR on there as another potential oil play on that one. I like that. So again, that's just basically based on. It's not really anything technical on this. It's I mean, yeah, it had a nice day the other day. Got a big gap below, so that's good. It might want to work on that. But here's your trend line, right? So here we're still below this, right? Even with great open interest, I still like to see things confirm above our trend lines with some increasing volume. But if it does do that case, we get two open gaps right here, maybe even three, right? And then the cloud up above. So if this thing were ready to rally, then these folks are buying the dip on this one below 10. Maybe it's because they can't buy shares. Right? If they're like a hedge fund, sometimes they're not allowed to buy shares under $10. But if they bought the options, it might be a nice little opportunity to try to bank on that. So really great spot on that one. Thank you for bringing that up, Dylan. Godwin, what's going on? Fighting the urge to swing overnight positions because of the size of these moves. Exactly, and it's crazy, right? Because you look at what we were seeing earlier, right? You get these this huge trend. It's almost silly, right? But it's like with this volatility, it's like it's almost better just to bet the opposite way, right? You have this bullish close right here. We got like we go down right here, down, low, up, right, and then up, down, down, up. I mean, so it just kind of is like this, just do the opposite of how we close and how strong it is or how weak it is. So, but yeah, it's tough to do it. And honestly, it's not something I'm into doing right now either. I don't want to swing with this stuff. You never know if you're going to gap up or down $100. If you're trying to do a pattern like this, like we're saying, up, down, up, it's like gambling, right? And the IV is so high. So if it did go up, even if you have calls, right, even the IV would drop so much you're not going to get as much gain as you normally would in a regular market. So yeah, so very, very interesting stuff. Good point. And yeah, Robin, yeah, totally agree. Heather, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Michael, what's up? Good to see you. IVR. Let's take a look. IVR. Invesco Mortgage Capital. So inside day on Friday. So this should be interesting right here. Let's see how this does. I guess I don't know how these mortgage companies are gonna make money with 0% rates, but I guess the concept is they'll probably charge like a fee or something like that, but they might get a lot more mortgage applications, so I think it's a good idea. Let's definitely keep an eye on this one. Oh, short commercial real estate. Yeah, that too. It just with zero rates. I mean, like, you never know. You might see some more mortgage stuff. Yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on it, guys. And I try not to theorize too much on the fundamentals of the company, but it is interesting. Let's see what it does. Let's see how it handles that inside day. If it comes down, then that could be a good short for you, for sure. Let's take a look at WFC. Interesting. Like the financials is like as go the financials, so goes the market. Right? Is one of the kind of trading adages out there. And so we're below the trend line right here. WFC has been getting hit a lot too, a little bit more than its counterparts. This is a good one to look. Definitely a good one to look on the short side. If the market is going to be weak like that. And then Key is another one. Not necessarily publicly as sinister as Wells Fargo, but definitely below some trend lines right here. Right, so again, see, it had a nice rally the other day. Almost looks like a Morningstar reversal potential, but let's see if we can get over that trend line with some volume. Otherwise, yeah, bearish until proven otherwise. And then Microsoft. Let's take a look. Microsoft had a huge day on Friday. I believe the biggest range ever for Microsoft. Friday's range was 21 points, over 21 points, and I don't think I've ever seen a candle like that for Microsoft. I think it's probably the biggest range ever. This was 6 points, with 5 points. So I mean, huge day for Microsoft. Microsoft's usually pretty chill, and so it did put a big lower shadow, but it also put an upper shadow too. Although it did bounce off that congestion zone. So look for this congestion zone again, anywhere between 130, 130 and 140. I know it's a big range, but we're volatile right now. So whenever we're volatile like this, guys, don't be afraid to go to the weekly charts or even the monthly charts to kind of tune out the noise, right? So you can get some clarity on it. But big lower shadow on this one, holding some key levels. So let's see if I can continue to do that. So yeah, good stuff. Matthew, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in, man. Levi, what's up? Let's take a look. So we got J&J. Let's take a look at old J&J here. So J&J is one, right? They are in the works, like to try to help and all that with coronavirus. With coronavirus vaccines and stuff like that. So it's definitely one to look at for intraday plays. Let's see if this bullish candle here, we'll see what the market does tomorrow. It's a huge candle too for Johnson & Johnson, so it might gap down, but it might hold this candle, right? And then we'll just look for some strength to see if it kind of work its way back up and eventually get above it, get over the 200-day moving average, and try to get to the next levels above. So yeah, good stuff there. Michael Bayless means get out for the big boys. Oh yeah, I mean we've seen it's very interesting, right? We've seen a lot of CEOs leave their companies before a lot of this happened, right? So a lot of them maybe kind of saw the what was going on here. They're like, I'm out, you know. And some say that they got out so that they have the ability to short it because you can't short your company if you're an executive with it. So that's interesting too. Another just on a side note too is if you look at Kroger, right? Warren Buffett got a big position in this one, right, recently. So, back in February, and ended up having a pretty good move on earnings right now. I don't think they scalped it up there. I think they're in it for the long run. But and they also invested in BIIB, and it's just kind of neat that both of these, they dropped like Apple and some other stuff. This is interesting. Like Biogen, I know it's not huge up right now, but it's still holding up okay. If you kind of did those as like Corona place, right? Because everybody's, been, clearing the shelves of the grocery stores and all that stuff. So Kroger's a good idea. And obviously Biogen, I think they do something, right? Pharma type stuff. So maybe he's looking for a good pharma, Corona type play or something like that. Anyway, very, very interesting stuff. So if you're going to get in anything, right, Buffett might have a clue on that one. But yeah, definitely bail out, get out for the big boys. I hear you. Levy, how is their volume still coming in? I don't know. I think you can still buy it, but ain't nothing gonna happen, right? So I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the volume on that one, but it's flat right now until the open. So maybe you can get in. I wouldn't mess with it though. So ZEK, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look. FCEL. Yeah, so FCEL, so pretty interesting right here. So we got below like all these key levels right here. We gapped down below that. It tried to get above it on Friday. It couldn't quite do it. It looks like we've got earnings coming up tomorrow before the open. So let's see what they come up with, right? So it's got better prospects to the downside, right? So it's got less path of least resistance. So if they miss, it could be an interesting short to try to get down to that 50-cent level. But if they beat, I would really want to see them above, $3 to try to get like a gap and go. So definitely want to keep an eye on there. QGen, let's take a look. Yeah, so QGen, decent candle right here. I like how it gapped up over a lot of these key levels, so it seems to be holding up here quite well, and it looks like it likes to do that. So we had a congestion zone back here that kind of held, came back down. Again, this 43.16 level looks like one that it would want to get above. I'm not sure if they have any other crazy news coming out. But yeah, it could be an interesting play right here. Wins funding to speed up the evaluation of test kit. So this is a test kit play, so that could be one to look at for sure. Good stuff. And then BJ. Good old BJ's. This is like a Costco, right? This is the the cheaper of the warehouse clubs, right? So but Walmart you could look at for not only Walmart but also at Sam's Club. Costco is going to be interesting. BJ is interesting too. Nice candle, got out of the cloud. It's right below the 200 moving average. So I think above that and above these levels, it could be interesting. Got an open gap above. It's typically not a hugely traded sub, but we are seeing some volume coming in here since earnings. So that could be one to keep an eye on. Michael, so $1.5 trillion Fed pump would equal $6,000 stimulus for every American adult. Money should go to all citizens. There you go. I'm with you on that. Fund your futures accounts, right? Matt, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Levi, print out another 1.5 trillion and give it to all of us. Yeah, just make it like a gazillion. Right. Charlotte, what's going on? Okay, let's take a look. Good to see you. Let's see. So we've got Luckin Coffee. So Luckin Coffee kind of tricked us last week. It looked like they had earnings coming up, and they actually didn't, which is kind of frustrating. But now it looks like they might be doing their earnings on the 19th, and so it is pretty interesting, right? We've got cluster, congestion zone right here. It did hold this congestion zone. So let's see. It's having trouble getting above it, right? So let's see. We're just gonna have to wait for earnings, but it has been holding up generally pretty well. But if it does close below here, right, we may see some volume. We may see a little bit of a move down before earnings. So it'd be very, very interesting to see what they have in store for earnings on it. I can't imagine it's going to be very good unless it's just like crazy manipulation of numbers. I mean, LK is the Starbucks of China, right? And I can't imagine too many people, in Wuhan at least, are going out to get coffee because they're not allowed out. So we'll see how these guys hold up. But that'll be definitely an interesting one to keep an eye on for earnings. Ernesto, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. Richard, MMP. Hope you're doing well, man. Let's take a look. MMP. Magellan Mainstream Partners. Let's take a look. So interesting right here. Very, very similar stuff that we're seeing kind of across the board with its just bearishness. It's got some pretty tight trend lines right here. It's really, really close to it. Let's see if we can get above it, right, and confirm about it with some increased volume to get up to the next level. Otherwise, bearish until proven otherwise. Good stuff. Reed, what's going on? Hey, it's okay. Thanks for tuning in, man. Let's see. So late to the show. So SPY and QQQ. No, you're good. Let's take a look. So SPY. Yeah, so I mean, again, with all this stuff that we've seen, right? SPY had a nice candle, right? Kind of got it, filled into the gap, right? Left a little bit of an upper shadow, not increased volume, right? So it was they tried to do a big rally into the close, and like we've been seeing, is this kind of, green. If you finish green and strong, short, right? If you finish, this is the one we finished short, but here we finished really, really weak, and then we gapped up. So, again, we finished strong here. So maybe, we gapped down. And obviously, with the futures down, that's, probably being the case. So one of the things we've been looking at, right, is kind of this, let me put a clear chart up here so we can see it. So, yeah, triangle down on that one. That was cool. Let me create a new one. So we got this. So one of the things we've been pointing out in our group, too, is we have that move down, right? We have move up right here. So there's your wave 1. Here's your wave 2 correction. Possible wave 3, right? And, I mean, this could be like a wave 4, potentially, and then we work our way down. But the idea is, the real question is, if anybody, for the Elliott wave enthusiasts out there, is this just the beginning of wave 3 or is this the wave 3? Either way, it still could be a corrective move down. And if that is it for this, we may see another push to the downside. And again, estimates of that, you can do anything from, Fibonacci retracements here from, the finish of wave 1 to wave 2, right? And then you could see a move down here to 200%, or 161.8 is a common possibility. So that brings SPY to like 225. So that's something to keep an eye on there as well. And then QQQ. Let's take a look. So obviously very, very similar setups, right? Here's your kind of, wave down to the 200 moving average, back up, right? We're starting to see a move down. We've already hit, a retracement here. But again, there's room on the Qs down here. In this case, if this wave theory is correct on this one to like the 160 level. So that's something to look at too. Again, bullish close, possible gap down tomorrow based on the futures being halted, right? So we have that going on. So interesting stuff. Yeah, but great. Thanks for bringing those up. And then Levi, you've got a couple other ones on the radar. Let's take a look. So we've got team. Inside day, right? So obviously below its key moving average and all that stuff, but it did finish, towards the high. So let's see if that could break out and get above those. It could be interesting. RNG. Ring Central, interesting. So this is, let's take a look. Let's get our trend lines back up here. So let's see, we are here. Here's your lows. Yeah, still below the trend line, right? And it was directly to the cloud twice. 200-day moving average right here. So maybe a possible pullback to the 200 MA, and we'll see what it does there. And then TDOC. TDOC's been, not TDOC, excuse me, TDOC. That was my ring finger saying, let's see. Yeah, it's holding up pretty good up here. I like how it bounced off the 50. It got back in its trend box here. Really, really choppy moves, but starting to get some big moves. I know Vice President Pence mentioned it by name. It got some bullish activity off of that, and then it kind of came back down. Huge range on Friday. Didn't really finish on its highs, but it's a spinning top. So let's see how it handles this candle, the range of this candle, in the next couple days. Could be interesting. Minoj 1.5 trillion for 130 million is 11,000. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Nvidia. Let's take a look. Make it over 25K so everybody can day trade, right? Without pattern day trading rules. Just kidding. All right, let's take it. So, wow, Nvidia, it was nice. It did close on its highs right here. It did come back to this prior resistance zone, so it really is at a key level. It's in the cloud, so let's just see how it handles the cloud tomorrow, see if it breaks down out of it and test the lows again from Thursday. Boeing, again, Boeing is like just bearish until proven otherwise. If you guys can believe that it was once a $400 stock, it's down to 150. Inside day, this is one of the weakest candles of of basically the go-to list, right? Had a nice move down. It's an inside area here. Didn't close really super bullishly. It closed within its upper shadow right here. So again, if this breaks down again, it's got room to go basically down to 100. I think there's a gap down there or something like that. But yeah, bearish until proven otherwise on that one. And of course, Amazon. So let's take a look. So Amazon, upper shadow, nice hammer right here with room to go, potentially to fill the gap. But if it comes down with the market, we could get a tail fail to the downside. And if we do there, the next level is here. Well, that's already the support level right there. Next level's down on Amazon, our way back here to 1587. So kind of keep an eye on those levels too. Yeah, Levi, yeah, we got a bunch of people here. Let's see. Manoj, so if the futures are halted, they will not open again until... No, yeah, so futures are done until the market opens, so 9:30 Eastern. At that point, futures, are no longer in control. It's the market itself, the open market that's open there. So at that point, you've got the market itself. If it goes down 7%, so if we go down another 2% tomorrow from Friday's close, then it will get halted, right? Just like we've seen... like what was it, Monday and Friday, right? So we get those halts on that, and then that's 15 minutes. And then if we go down 13%, they halt it again. That's a level 2 halt, and they halt it for another 15 minutes. And then if we end up down 20% on the day, which would be pretty significant, then they shut the market down for the rest of the day. But that all has to occur before 3:25 p.m. Eastern time. If it happens after that, it's free game. The market can flush as much as it wants to. So it's very, very interesting how they do that. So good stuff. So Michael Phil is about 250 million. So 18 plus. Oh yeah, for adults and all. Yeah, I gotcha. So you got adults and all that stuff. So yeah, you get a car. You get a car. Just give everybody $1 million and we're good, right? So then everybody will feel good. So then the market will go up, right? So anyway, neat stuff, guys. So very, very interesting stuff. We've had a historic couple weeks. I have a feeling we're still in for more of a ride this week. So definitely be prepared for it. But most importantly, take care of your health, take care of your family, and everybody, get lots of rest, and so we can be focused and well and healthy for more trading ahead. So it should be interesting, guys. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. I think we're gonna have a great rest of our discussion on bullish reversal cancels because eventually we're gonna get a bullish reversal on this thing. We just have to figure out when. So good. Yeah, exactly, on the tax place. Cherry, what's going on? In Hong Kong, government gives each one $10,000. Nice. Well, that's a good deal. Ooh, Hong Kong's expensive though. That's basically like giving everybody $10. So anyway, good stuff, guys. So I appreciate it. If anybody's new here and anybody's tuning in on YouTube, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. We do this every market night. We go over ideas and chart requests and things like that. And we also post really cool other videos and all that. So that should be good. Also, please hit the like button. Everybody, definitely smash the like button. We always love that. And yeah, space cash, exactly. Yeah, GLD could be interesting again. It might get another one, but a lot of gold's been going down with the market too because everybody's getting margin calls, institutions, and all that stuff, and they just want to be in cash. So that's right, exactly. So space cash. And then while we're on it, real quick, let's take a look at SPCE and just see what it's doing. Yeah, inside day there at the 2-day moving average. Wasn't that an epic little run right there? Pretty neat stuff. Looks a lot like Tesla. And if you guys can believe it, Tesla, guys, was just up at close to 1,000, and now it's basically like cut its value in half over a couple of weeks, right back down to 500. So pretty interesting stuff. Anyway. Really appreciate it, everybody. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. We'll catch you guys in the morning. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.